Ahoy, cruise enthusiasts! I know it feels like it's been a while, but we're back together again now. A few weeks ago, another creator did a video about things that we have lost from the golden age of cruising, or just after the golden age of cruising. And it was a pretty interesting list. I'm sure you know the one I'm talking about. You can go find that video. She's fabulous. But I have experienced everything on that list, not just in the modern cruising era, but, well, way back when I was a kid, all those, well, decades ago now. So I thought I would talk about some of my memories of these things and maybe a little bit about how the cruise lines could bring them back. I think some of them would be quite exciting. Now, I know videos like this, you know, they're usually full of like B-roll and all this kind of stuff, but not really my jam. So you're just gonna have to sit there and watch me and use your imagination. The first one was skeet shooting. So skeet or trap shooting. I remember this on SS Norway, cruise out of Miami, St. Thomas, regular 7-day cruise. And this was shortly after she was introduced as the largest cruise ship in the world. And I remember this very distinctly because my grandfather did it a couple of times. And for whatever reason, they would not let me. I mean, I was only 8. But we did leave from Florida, so I don't really see what the big deal was. Yeah, I guess lawyers were ruining the fun back then too. Unfortunately, I don't see this coming back. Unless, well, there's some things I just don't want to give anybody any ideas. But if they think hard enough, I'm sure they can find a way. Golf, not mini golf, but actually driving golf balls off the back of the ship. Yes, I remember this too. I don't know if it was SS Norway, but it probably was. But I do remember this. Now, right, no, we don't want to be, you know, tossing regular golf balls off the ship. But, well, the only thing to overcome here is a minor technical issue, and that's how to make a golf ball that is also fish food, right? It doesn't seem that difficult to me. It just has to survive one hit and then dissolve in the water, so the fish come eat it, or it sinks down to the bottom and all the critters down there eat it. I don't really see anything wrong with that, except unfortunately, yes, the bureaucrats who probably would have to approve this aren't really smart enough to know that fish food is good. And I definitely don't mean the surfer kind. Ew. Now, a big one that's been a topic lately, especially for me, is the midnight buffet. I talked about this a few times recently because they had a midnight spread on Margaritaville at Sea, and Carnival just reintroduced their midnight buffet in the Lido Marketplace. Video about that coming up very soon. I don't think we're ever going to get to see the midnight buffet as it was, because the ones I remember were like huge, lavish spreads with like, there was carved ice, carved fruit, carved cheese, carved like everything. And it was in the galley. I remember this very specifically. It was in the galley. You would go through and all the glistening stainless steel and everything. It was like a big event. I think they only did it once or twice on the cruise, but everybody showed up because it was kind of a big deal. Now, I don't know if we'll ever get that kind of event back unless they make it kind of an, I hate to say this, but an upcharge thing. But you know what? I mean, they might, put it this way, there might be enough guests who would be willing to give it a try, but they'd have to add a little bit to it. I mean, it would have to be that kind of big, lavish spread, maybe even in the galley. I think a lot of people would pay a few dollars to see the galley, but make it a really classic event with, like, you know, a band and champagne and all this kind of stuff. I think might be worth looking into. I would certainly pay $8 for that as an upcharge. Formal night is a perennial returning topic du jour. Okay, I do not think we're ever gonna see that come back in the way it was. Even apparently Cunard is kind of like not emphasizing that so much, which I think for mainline cruising is a good thing. I don't really want to ever dress up on a cruise. I do take better clothes for that, but yeah, actual formal night, the way it was, probably not going to see that again, unless it is another specialty dining experience. Really, what a cruise line could do is just reserve one of the smaller dining rooms, and this would only be like 1 or 2 nights well, actually, no, probably one night of cruise and only on a 7-day cruise, right? So we take one of the smaller specialty dining rooms and make it a specialty dining experience. Ladies, break out your grand Chanel ball gown. Guys, pick a tie. Yes, we have it easy. I will admit that. And yeah, do a formal night, but, as kind of a specialty dining thing. And, the food's got to be good. There's got to be like champagne and all this kind of stuff going on. But, again, I would pay a specialty dining price to experience something like that. In fact, if the cruise lines were smart about it, they could turn that into a little bit of a side hustle by providing, formal attire on the ship. I don't want to say rent because that makes it sound kind of cheap, but yeah, right, there you go. I mean, you bored, you don't even have to bring your own tuxedo. Okay, smoking. No, just ban it completely. Vaping too, don't want to deal with it. In fact, you know what, just ban the smokers. I would be totally fine with that. This is one that I'd almost forgotten about, and that's a recap DVD. I have, I think, one of these from a cruise that must have been back in 2008 or something like that. It was on Majesty of the Seas, and yeah, I think you did have to pay for it, but it was only $20. But actually, thinking before Bidenomics or Bidenflation, that wasn't that much. These days, it's a steal. Either way, no DVDs. I don't think that's going to happen again, because even I wouldn't take that because I don't want the physical DVD. But there are alternatives, and they produce a lot of content on the ship anyway with the shows, and probably not the comedians or anything like that, but even just daily life on the ship and things like that. But I don't see why they couldn't just make basically make a video of the cruise highlights, record some of the game shows and things like that, and just ask people if they don't mind being in a video or something like that, and then put it up on the ship's X channel, and there you go, kind of as a promotional thing. Maybe there might not be enough content for every cruise, so maybe only when there's good content, or it's like maybe a monthly recap or something like that. Yeah, come on, guys. That's how you like sell each individual ship. See what the people on board can do. They're making this content anyway, right? A lot of that stuff is filmed anyway, so I don't see why it's so hard for them to make a video. Okay. Something I thought was so cool when I was a kid and seeing them when they were in their prime was ice sculptures. Occasionally, I'll see them on board, but they tend to be like very small, I guess. But yes, way back when, in the mid-era of cruising, I don't know, the ice sculptures were ginormous. I mean, they were like, 5 or 6 feet tall. And I remember listening to, I guess one of the one of the head chefs or one of the culinary team describe how they get the ice or make the ice, and this whole big process. Now, this is something that these giant things, maybe reserve those for the midnight buffet, specialty dining, or upcharge. But I remember, and I don't remember if it was SS Norway or a Holland America ship in Alaska, but there was an ice sculpting demonstration up on the pool deck, and they brought out this giant block of ice, and they proceeded to carve it with a chainsaw. Yes, and for a little kid, this was the coolest thing ever, which they did, by the way. Normally, they would start the ice carving with a chainsaw simply because one of the first things they do is just they have to hack off, big chunks, and a chainsaw is just the easiest way to do it. But for the demonstration for, the guests on the deck, they did a lot more with the chainsaw than they would normally do, downstairs. I thought that was the coolest thing. And, given the little show that we had on Margaritaville by the bartender, why can't we have an ice sculpting demonstration again? I mean, it's just ice, doesn't seem that difficult. Although, special freezer, special ice maker. But anyway, that would be something really cool to bring back. Even if it is in the midnight buffet upcharge event, I think that would be awesome. Endangered species do exist in the cruise world as well. And I'm talking about towel animals that have been slowly eradicated from our beautiful terrain, I guess, or environments, our environments over the years. I'm pleased to see Carnival still, does this. I think they're cute. I like them. Some people don't, but, to each his own. I think the whole environmental thing, which is what the cruise lines are using to get away with this, is just kind of really overblown. I don't think the towel animals are anything more than a rounding error in terms of all the laundry and everything that they're doing anyway. So yeah, I don't really buy that. However, I think there is an improvement that they could make to the whole towel animal thing, and that's make it obvious or give some kind of indication that the towel animal is intended to be used as a towel. Right? Now, I don't doubt that it is. I'm not, right? I'm sure it's a clean towel. You know, the stateroom steward comes in, they put it on your bed. Not anything like that. But, you know, I don't know if people really take the extra step. And on a cruise, so cut them some break. Some break? Cut them some break. Cut them a break. I don't really realize that it's just a towel and you can use it. So maybe a little card in the room, kind of like you get it like a Brazilian steakhouse. You know, and you turn it over if you want one of your towels. There you go. See, this is what you do. If you want one of your towels made into a towel animal, or you just want it hung up on the, you know, just hung up in the bathroom, you know, for whatever. So that would be a way to make everybody happy. You know, the people who like the towel animal get the towel animal, but you go ahead and use the towel. There you go. Problem solved. Why am I the only one that thinks of these things? Something no one is sad to see go, and that is the in-person muster drill. But of course, Disney is the only one dysfunctional enough to keep that going. Probably the only decision made in California. Unless it was made in Florida, in which case I'd say, come on guys, you're embarrassing us. I don't think they're toxic, and yes, I'm talking about paper straws. Okay, plastic straws are gone forever, they're not coming back, and I'm okay with that. I have never had a problem with paper straws. I don't understand what people's problem with paper straws is. Although one of the criticisms is that they don't last very long. Okay, there's a very, very simple solution to that. Ready? Okay, drink faster or take two, right? Not a difficult problem to solve. I have been using paper straws since I was a kid. Maybe that's why I'm just kind of used to them, and they never really bothered me. So yeah, just say goodbye to the plastic straws. They're not coming back. And please don't bring those ridiculous aluminum ones. Please don't do that. However, I'm going to say something that is, of course, going to go right over every lefty's head. I get that. But let me explain. Well, let me explain. Let me just say it. Wouldn't it be great if every single use item could just be thrown into the ocean? Because it's still so close to nature that it doesn't matter, that it's no more consequential than a palm frond or a coconut or maybe some warm beer. I don't know, because, you know, if we made these items so that they wouldn't last longer than they needed to, like plastic, and actually were not even biodegradable, but just disintegratable, or even fish food. Like, wouldn't that be a goal that everybody could get behind? Topless sunbathing. Okay. You know what? I'm good. I am totally good. Every deck is topless, so all set. And ladies, sorry, don't need to see that. Porthole windows, yes, they are sadly becoming a rare find, but you can still find them on Carnival Elation and Carnival Paradise. They have little double porthole rooms you can still book. Now, granted, the portholes have been replaced by like large picture windows, even on the lower level ocean view staterooms, which I actually like, being that close to the water. So yeah, I'm not really gonna lament this, but if you do want to experience an actual semi-traditional porthole, yeah, time is running out. So go ahead and book that cruise. Well, just book it now. I mean, why wait? Last, an item that a lot of people do lament as an unfortunate cruise cutback, and that's the turn down service with maybe the chocolate on the pillow. All right, so the turn down service for me doesn't really matter. I do not miss the second time a day or twice a day housekeeping, so I'm okay with it not being there. However, this is something, you know what, the cruise lines, because they get a lot of flack for cutting these things. Why don't they add it to their existing like upcharge programs? And I'm talking about things like, you know, Carnival Faster to the Fun, the Key on Royal, The Norwegian Premium Extra Package, Aurea on MSC, although it might already be in that package. So yeah, you know, the cruise lines are already charging for these extra uplift experiences. So yeah, why don't you just throw the turn down service into that? But, throw the turn down service into that, but include like some actual premium chocolates, a paper guide, some upgraded bathroom amenities, things like that. And then the people who want the service, well, yeah, they can pay for it. I guess that's kind of defeats the criticism, but whatever. But there you go. It's a way to get your turn down service with the chocolate and all that stuff. Well, there you go. 10-ish, I don't even know, I didn't count, items that have been lost to time on board cruise ships that I have experienced, and some ideas for the cruise lines to bring them back in kind of a different, maybe more modern incarnation for, you know, a lot of the new cruisers to enjoy, because some of them were actually kind of fun. Some of them are part of cruise culture. Some of them, oh gosh, some of them are part of the old time cruise culture, which I remember. So, oh boy. Well, anyway, if we get back ice sculptures, if we get back midnight buffets, if we get back formal nights or topless sunbathing, I hope to see you on board.